What's up, everybody? We're jumping in. We have the bases loaded. Oh, hold on. And we do not have the bases loaded anymore because the inning
Yeah.
is over.
All right. Well,
We're playing
welcome
the
back to Not From
Angels.
Boston. Welcome back to Not From
Yeah.
Boston, everybody. We're still having a bad time.
Yeah, it got a little bit better. We had a good series against the Braves,
Yeah.
and now it's not going well again. So I don't really know
Yes.
what to think or make of anything now. There's like trade rumors circulating. I mean,
We can talk about that. I actually am very happy to talk about that.
we have a big episode though. We have some cool stuff we're gonna do as well today. So we're
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Because I have a couple. Let's start there. So, The Athletic
Sure.
reported earlier this week that the San Diego Padres are very interested in Jarren Duran, which we kind of had a sense of earlier because the San Diego Padres had made it clear they were looking for a left fielder, and Jarren Duran fits that bill. And then the Red Sox have kind of imploded. So
Yeah.
now they're explicitly looking in his direction.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think move him. Move Duran to I mean it's gonna suck because he's like very much the heart of the team
Yeah,
here.
he's like the
And
emotional leader right now.
but I mean he's already not a long-term. I don't think
No,
he's a
he's not
long-term
gonna.
solution
No,
here.
he's not gonna stay.
It brings Roman Anthony up, which is what we all want. And I think Duran does get us something in return from the Padres that is valuable. Like we can get
Mm-hmm.
one of their higher level prospects, or even ask for Dylan Cease, who's going to be a free agent
Yeah,
at the end of the year if we're actually interested in making a playoff push. So yeah, I mean I'm fine with trading Duran now or at the deadline.
yeah. I mean, I think if we're gonna be sellers, he's the marquee guy to sell. I would not touch Abreu at
I
this
wouldn't
point.
either. Yeah,
I don't think. I mean, Sadon's not gonna get traded, but I wouldn't. I
yeah,
think Duran is the guy to go because he has how many more years of team control? 2.
two.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's time. I mean, it sucks because he's really good. The thing is, like, whenever you talk about trading a player, there's two discussions you have. There's get this guy the fuck off my team. It's time for him to go. Or there's I really don't want to trade you, but I see the writing is on the wall, so we have to get as good of a package for you as you can. That was sort of the Christian Vasquez ism, which ended up working out great for us.
yeah,
But that I remember we were texting about that at that moment. This is 2022. I was like
yeah. At the time,
absolutely devastated.
we were like, what are we doing? Yeah,
Devastated.
I think with Duran, I mean, look, the thing is like we Red Sox fans, like we all want Roman Anthony up. We know that this organization is doing insane service time manipulation by holding him back.
It's
And
ridiculous.
Duran is kind of an excuse to allow that to happen because it's like, well, we have Duran. Like he's a great left
Right.
fielder. Why would we move him? Whatever. So if Duran's not on this team, then they can't. It's a lot harder for I think for Breslow to hide behind like, oh, this roster's hard to move around. We want Roman Anthony to adjust and not just admit that this
Yeah.
is service time manipulation and we have to call him up. So
Yeah.
I kind of like forcing their hand for that. Like that doesn't bother me.
But here's the
Um,
weird thing is who's okay, so that leads into a bigger conversation because obviously like Breslow's comments about why Anthony is not getting called up instead of Nate Eaton, which is just like, come on. I
Oh
mean,
my God. Is
what
that
happened?
sorry, just a double from Darno
Oh,
or a single, I guess. God, I love the Green Monster.
Green Monster, baby.
Yeah.
Um, because to me, this is always the interesting thing with service time manipulation. Whose call is it? Is this John Henry saying don't bring him up? Is this Craig Breslow? Like, because to me, you're saying forcing their hand. I would agree with you if this is John Henry. If Breslow says, fine, motherfucker, like, we'll trade Jarren Duran, and then you have to authorize this. Or is this Breslow being like, we're not going to start that time yet. We're not going to start that service time clock. Because
I
we're only 3 games under 500 right now, 4 games under 500. I know that's like not good,
yeah.
but a little thump in this lineup goes a long way. If you go on a run and win 10 games, it's not done. So let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Like, are we doing this or not? You know?
So, I mean, my impression with John Henry is that he wants to win and he wants to win sooner rather than later. And I don't think that's compatible with service time manipulation for Roman Anthony. So I feel like it's more Breslow. The thing that for me that makes this make no sense is I think everybody's really aware that we can't repeat the Mookie Betts thing. We can't
Mm-hmm.
have a prospect, bring him up, let him develop into a star over the course of his team control and then be too expensive to afford when he hits free agency. So no matter what happens, I mean, we already signed Christian Campbell to an extension. Within a month of Roman Anthony being a Major League Baseball player, we will sign him to an extension if we're
Yeah,
smart. And it will be an overpay for who he is. It'll be like
probably.
$120 million
Probably.
dollars. And it's a matter of like, hey, do you want to do that? Like it's not even either do that or pay 300, 400, 500 million, in 6 years,
Hmm.
because it'll be like it becomes so much more doubtful that we will do that, because I mean it's the Boston Red Sox. Like
Right.
they want to hold on to him for longer because then he's going to get too expensive. Like I don't think that flies, because if the organization knows what they're doing, which is, as soon as he comes up, they're going to be like, hey, let's get that extension locked down now.
Right. Right.
So
But
I, I
that makes this more shocking. Like if they were to actually do that and say, which I think you're right, but if they were to actually say, okay, great, you're coming up, and within a month of you being up in the show, you're getting an extension, then it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, bring him up now. Like, if you're already planning on holding on to him years after team control, like if they do the Christian Campbell thing or the Sadon thing, it's like, what the hell are we fucking playing patty cake for? What is
Yeah.
this?
Well, I think the only other explanation I can think of, which is really stupid, is that, I mean, it's not really stupid, but is that Craig Breslow genuinely believes that this team uh, isn't as bad as they currently are, and that they will turn it around, or that we can play like this and kind of like slowly bleed out to the trade deadline, where then we will either know enough to sell and bring Roman Anthony up then, or to add and bring Roman Anthony up then.
And I don't disagree that that's probably his thinking, but what I would say to that is
Ooh,
we're
good caught
currently
stealing.
yeah, nice throw. I was about to say he threw.
Yeah.
I didn't want to break it for you,
Oh,
but
and
he
it's
threw a
Connor
dart.
Wong.
Yeah. Listen, we're currently on the verge of losing a series at home to the Los Angeles, California Angels of Anaheim. So if you think this team is good enough, everyone's like, oh, well, they swept the Dodgers. I don't give a fuck, dude. They sweep the Dodgers every year because that's the World Series for them.
Yeah.
Like, the Angels suck. This is ridiculous. Reed Detmers made us look like a fucking AAA team yesterday. We
Yeah.
basically are a AAA team. Where we are, what it seems to me based on the play is where we are right now is like 80% of the lineup that over this next period of, we'll call it the Breslow era, if he sticks
Mhm.
around for 10 years, plus years, whatever.
It's not going to be 10 years. That'd be crazy.
No, I don't think so. But let's call it the Breslow era. We're about
Yeah.
80% of the way there. I think Bregman will probably stay now because of the injury. That is the only silver lining, which sucks to even say that there's a silver lining to someone getting pretty significantly injured. But
Mhm.
I think because this is an injury he's already had, this is literally the exact same injury he had in Houston in 2021 when he was on pace to win an MVP and really slowed down. It's going to be hard for him to make 40 million from another team. Um, but we are looking at a few clear. I think you're right about Sadon. I've been thinking that for a few weeks now. His defense does not outweigh his lack of offensive output, and the
Yeah.
fact that his offensive output, in my opinion, is because of seemingly bad decision making. Like the choices of pitch, his pitch selection is
It's
terrible.
he's I think very immature at the plate
He
and on the
doesn't have
bases.
any he doesn't have any approach. He has no, like, I've never seen any approach from him. And again,
Mhm.
I'm not a freaking major league hitting
Yeah.
coach, but like, the fuck is going on up there? He's like swinging at basically anything that's even close to the zone, and then with two strikes he takes a cockball right down the middle. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, what is that? Like,
He's
so
much better with runners in scoring position, but like that's I guess like not happening frequently enough
that's
to
not enough of a
justify.
that's not a yeah, I exactly.
Yeah.
And then here's the other one. Trevor Story's not the shortstop for this team long term.
No,
Like,
I agree.
no way. So I think Meyer being at third or Campbell being at second and then maybe first base, and we'll talk about the stuff that Pedro said, obviously, but like this whole
Yeah.
like hodgepodge, like, okay, Toro sometimes, and then Meyer
Yeah.
sometimes, and then Sogard sometimes. That's not going to work.
Well, so let's talk about that though, like the mix and match of
Yeah.
it, because I mean, Alex Cora, I believe Alex Cora sets the lineup every
Yeah,
day.
for sure.
And so part of me is like, oh, I'm pissed with him for making these weird mix and match decisions where like, why is Connor Wong ever starting a baseball game?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, oh, actually, this I think is more on Breslow than Cora because Cora just like this is the roster Cora was given.
That's what I was
And
gonna say.
and Breslow, I think what happened to us is that last year we overperformed and everyone in the organization was like, "Oh, okay, this is actually we are this good. This wasn't an overperformance. We are this good, so we don't need to actually do much more to this roster. We just need to add a couple of pieces." But the
Yeah.
reality is that actually we overperformed last year. This is who we are, and this roster is not playoff caliber. There are still moves to be made, and I think they're learning, unfortunately, learning that now.
Yeah, and I also think like obviously if Aaron Judge were to get injured for the Yankees, they're looking at a very different season,
Yes.
right? Like if Aaron Judge were to miss 3 months of time, you're looking at probably a slightly better than 500 ball club.
Well, I mean, that's what we've seen in the past when he's
Trevor
been
Story
hurt.
plugs the gap. Oh my gosh, what a catch. Unbelievable. Poor fucking Story just can't buy a hit, dude.
I mean, the thing, yeah, Story, it's like everyone was this past weekend because he hit a home run. He had two
And a
loud,
triple, yeah.
and it's like, and everyone's like, "Oh, Trevor Story's back," and I'm like, "Nope,
No.
you have to. I need a week of hitting from him to be like, okay, he's back." And we have not gotten that. I don't think
Yeah.
we're gonna get that. I'm still very much on the train of like this guy needs to either be on the bench and barely play or
He's
he
going to
needs
get
to be
DFA'd.
DFA'd.
He's going to get DFA'd at some
Um,
point.
I Marcelo Meyer is just I think a much better fit for shortstop. He's more comfortable there. Toro made some great plays at third yesterday,
Bro,
which was
we're going to talk
shocking.
about him. We're going to talk about him because
He's
he has been shocking me. Like,
he's
bro, his
Dom
bat
Smith.
is great. Yeah, he's better than Dom Smith.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, yeah,
he's a switch hitter. He hits from both sides of the plate. He can play like three different positions. Has made some really really good defensive plays. He's been clutch. He's come up with runners in scoring position and delivered. He's on
yeah,
base. Like his on base percentage. I know it's a short sample size. Must be like 500. Like he's on base all the time.
yeah,
And with the Story stuff, it's like I can say at least for this weekend and the games I've seen this week, he's at least barreling the ball. Like the one that he just hit, that was like, oh, he just cracked it into the gap and the guy made a diving catch. Like
yeah.
Campbell has kind of been doing that lately too, where he's getting out, but he's barreling the ball. I can accept that. What I cannot accept at a major league level when you're making the amount of money that he's making is swing at the same fucking outside slider. How many times, and they say it on the commentary, like I've heard Dave O'Brien, oh, he struggles with sliders away. Like, you got to lock that up, bro, because you know what you're getting now. The
Yeah.
jury's out. Like, everybody knows, okay, pitch Story away. He can't hit it.
Well, the thing with um Story that is troubling is he's having trouble with hitting the fastball, which is
He's
like
way late.
it's like that's not a pitch that you should like if you
Not at the
have
major league
chronic
level.
problems with that, like then we have a really serious fundamental problem. It might
Yeah.
also be as simple as like he's too in his head about it. Uh
Yeah.
but I don't even know that like it's like do we want to fix that with a, 30 what 2-year old
Injury
like
prone.
veteran, or do
Yeah.
we want to move on to the next like to the future of this ball club? Also, sorry, I'm like scrolling right now because I'm trying to find this stat from Red Sox stats on Twitter. He actually made a really great point. Oh yeah, here it is. So with Campbell, here's the thing about Campbell is like I am completely I mean, I'm not happy that he's slumping, but I completely understand why remember, he's a rookie. This is
Yeah.
he just finished month 2 of his big league
Yeah.
career. I don't believe that this is permanent. I don't believe that this is who he is. What Red Sox stats pointed out on Twitter, and if you guys on Twitter, you should follow him, is that in August of 2014, which was his second month in the big league, Xander Bogaerts had a trash month
Mm-hmm.
as a rookie. So Campbell, in May he hit 128 and had an OPS of 356. And Xander Bogaerts in August of 2014 hit 123 with an OPS of 360. He still
Yeah.
ended up being Xander Bogaerts.
Right. Of course.
So it's like that was like a nice little reminder of like, yeah, this for Campbell, this is temporary. For Story, I think this is who he is now.
Also, we're going to talk about this more, and I think depending on the direction of the season and what happens over the next month, this will be more or less of a discussion. But again, this hodgepodge, like Campbell's at first, Campbell's at second, Campbell's in the outfield, that has to be messing with his head. Like,
oh, absolutely.
There's
absolutely.
no way. And this is, we talked about Devers a lot, obviously, a month ago. And the one piece of credit that I do give him is he is correct in the sense that, like, switching positions at the major league level, it's not like in men's league or little league or high school. High school, they were like, Harry, can you play third? Can you play right? Can you pitch? Can you catch? Like, I played like every position. The ball's coming at you at about 80 miles an hour. The ball in the infield at the major league level, especially at first base or third base, that fucker's getting hit at you at about 110 miles an hour. It is rocketed down the line. Like, that's a very difficult adjustment to make.
Yeah.
And he's still figuring out how to hit major league pitching. This is only his third month in the league. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's not great.
To Marcelo Meyer's credit, he's adapted to playing third rather decently. Like, he made that amazing catch on the line. And also, did you see that, like, on the broadcast of him going to the dugout and the lady, like, security person, like, checking him out?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
The thing about, like, playing multiple positions at a like similarly, at a similar level, like playing first base as well, you play third base, etc. Like, that happens like one of two ways. One, you're a utility player who comes up and develops learning multiple positions and learns to play them at the same time, or you are just a natural. You are a special kind of like athlete. You are like especially athletic.
You're
like,
Mookie Betts.
You're Mookie Betts, and maybe Christian Campbell's Mookie Betts. But I don't right now. I don't get the sense that even if he is that moving him around is like helping him. I don't, and it's okay. Like, not everybody has to be your superstar. Doesn't have to be Mookie Betts. Like, he just has to be good at what he's good at doing.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It's like, oh, if he's good at second base, and if Meyer is good at short, why mess with that?
I would agree. I mean, it's so funny, like the little like quasi butterfly effects of things in a baseball season, but like we could get to the end of the year and be like, fucking Devers had just played first base. Like, you don't know what that's gonna do. Oh no, damn.
Yeah,
high fly ball. We don't know what that's gonna do to Campbell's confidence, because what I will say, just from anecdotal, we've been observing the games in real time, is as soon as they suddenly started working Campbell at first base, his batting average declined pretty significantly, like almost verbatim. It was like the week that got leaked, Campbell's been working out at first base, it was like, okay, he's 0 for 3, he's 0 for 4, he struck out 3 times, he struck out with runners in scoring position, where the first month of the season he was crushing the ball. So I don't know. I think he is supposed to be, to me, it's very clear what the team is supposed to be. Casas, obviously, that is just a horrible situation. It is what it is. But it's very clear to me that it's supposed to be Campbell, in the next year or two, Campbell, Meyer, Bregman. Like, that's what they're thinking. I wouldn't be mad at, like, a Nick Sogard at first base or a Toro if that was the only place we were plugging holes. But I mean, it's easy. Go ahead.
No, sorry. No, you finish your thought.
It's just easy to forget about, like, I just literally even saying it out loud, I was like, oh, yeah, Casas got hurt. I forgot about that. Like, bro, we've had 2 massive pieces. I know he wasn't producing, but he's capable of producing at a high level.
Yeah.
We have 2 huge holes in our lineup right now of guys that were expected to play 150 games that are not going to now.
Yeah. I mean, I think Campbell playing first, I think, is a 2025 exclusive. Like, I don't
for sure.
I think he's got to go back to second. I think if they want to, I mean, if Tristan Casas, is kind of back and he's, even half the player that he was before, like, that's great, but he's still going to need another guy there. I wouldn't be even shocked if they were like, hey, Rafi, like, now that it's the off season, like,
can you work out at first base?
Right. However, like, even then, like, those aren't actual, to me, those aren't real solutions. I mean, all that this season has done is highlight kind of what I said earlier, which is that this roster overperformed in 2024, and we didn't think to address any of the lack of depth that we have in this
Mm-hmm.
roster at first base in particular. And we're dealing with the fallout of that, which is, I think, like Breslow's poor,
Yeah,
management
and
skill, like poor GM skills.
I'll tag on to that. This has always been my issue with prospect first baseball. And I know it's really easy to, we made this crazy, trade and we got the number one prospect from the Astros. And again, like Christian Vasquez is a great example of like when that works out. Like Vasquez has been essentially a replacement level catcher for 3 seasons now. And we got Wilyer Abreu from that.
Yeah.
And we got, it wasn't Rafael.
Valdez. We got Emmanuel Valdez, who's
right.
Actually like doing very well defensively in Pittsburgh.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
He's a great player. So that was a fleece job. Like that was great. But then there's the Mookie Betts situation where you end up with Jeter Downs is the big marquee piece of that, who's now playing in Korea. And I think going into this season, Breslow was probably thinking we don't need to address the depth because look at how many prospects we have that can play all these different positions.
Yeah.
Which we're seeing now, Nick Sogard and Meyer, and that's great if it's like filling one hole, like you said, but we're basically filling 3 holes right now with guys that don't really play those positions. Go get a major league fucking middle infielder,
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I think what ultimately they're in this corner now of like they developed one of the best farm systems in the league, which I think also like part of that like high ranking is due to the fact that everyone thought that the major league team was going to be good. Because I don't think a prospect like a farm system gets that higher ranking for a shit team.
Yeah.
But it is like now they're in a position where it's like, oh, you're gonna have to deplete that farm system to bring in major leaguers that you via trade because you didn't sign people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what prospect first baseball is. It's like this ongoing, and we see this with teams like Tampa Bay where they have little spikes where they're really good. Like literally every decade, Tampa Bay has a spike where they're really good and then they're really bad. I guess right now they're doing well, but they've been to 2 World Series and then they're like basement dwellers for a lot of it.
But that's also like
prospect first baseball.
But also that's their like business model. Like they're like, we're the Tampa Bay Rays, we're a small market club. We're fine with being good for a couple of years and then rebuilding our prospects and then being good and then trading them away.
Right.
The Boston Red Sox are not a small market team.
But that's what I'm saying. We're operating like the Tampa Bay Rays. Like the ideology behind the club, and clearly it's still going on. I think Breslow splashed more cash. He went after Bregman, which is awesome. But the ideology behind the team is let's build up this. Having a big farm system is like the biggest deal that we can possibly have, and we can just use those guys. We don't have to spend money because our farm system guys, guess what? Prospects don't usually work out. There is a legitimate chance, and I hate to even put this out in the world, but there's a legitimate chance that Campbell, Meyer, and Anthony are all bums. I end up being not good. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. I have one name for you. Andrew Benintendi.
Dude, great example.
So, like, I absolutely, like, I agree. Like, I hate to put that out there, but that's just the truth.
It's a
like,
possibility.
That might happen.
It's
a coin flip.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, though. Like, with Breslow, do you think he would have gone after Bregman and signed him if Cora hadn't really made that big a push? I mean, Kennedy, I think, was with him on that push, but if Cora wasn't, like, really advocating for it?
I haven't had enough time with I mean, this is his second year with Breslow to really know. I can tell you that if this were Bloom, the answer would be fuck no. Because Bloom was like, oh, I got burned by the Story contract. I'm not doing that again. I don't know. What would answer? I mean, my off-rip answer is I think yes, because he played in Boston. And so I think he's at least acutely aware of the fact that, like, you got to bring somebody in. Like, you can't just have the fans be like, why are you raising our ticket prices and putting out a bullshit team?
Yeah. And yet we're here.
And yet we're fucking 4 games below 500. And then you'll see it in a second, just a horrible error at third base. It's just such a joke. Yeah, I don't know. What will be really interesting, and we've mentioned this a few times, is what happens at the end of July. Because if we are in semi the mix, if we're like even at this point, like even 500, I would say his choices would answer that question for me. If he's like, screw it, we pick up the right pieces, we can sneak a wild card, then I'm like, all right, he probably would have made that signing on his own. But I don't really
Yeah.
know. This is a weird team, dude, and this season is weird because we've had two massive injuries to like two hugely anticipated, to be good players.
Yeah.
And the pitching is actually more. The pitching has been banged up for most of the year too. Like
Hmm.
Richard Fitz out there yesterday, he's clearly not healthy.
Yeah.
He didn't look right. I mean, he
No.
freaking threw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball middle to Mike Trout. Like that's never gonna happen
Yeah.
with a healthy pitcher. So oh my God. Dude,
I mean,
this is like I'm gonna have to turn this off. This is getting horrible.
what I will say is like about Breslow is that we were hovering around 500 at the at trade deadline last year. He made trades that we all thought could. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I just saw what you were talking about.
Horrible. 2 errors.
About he made moves that he thought would put us in a better position to get into the wild card spot, and it was a
Danny
a
Jansen.
disaster. I mean, those trades blew up in our faces. So I mean, truth be told, I think Jared Carabas said this. I think in his last episode, and I actually wholeheartedly agree. The last thing I want is for the Red Sox to be around 500 at the deadline. I want us to either be in the picture or fully like 10 games under 500, and like I want to be like I don't want to do this because we've done it 3 years in a row now. This like
Yeah, we've done
sellers
it more than
and
that. Yeah.
buyers thing. It's not working. It's not good.
What do you consider in the picture? Like how far above 500 do you have to be? Like do you have to be sitting in a wild card spot to be considered?
I think you have to be at worse. You have to be a game within a wild card spot.
That's about what I would say. I would say you could be within 2.
And
If
I
you're
would say
within
like
2, that's okay.
yeah. I just like, and I think you have to be over 500. There's just like
Yeah.
I think if you're under 500, like I don't really care what the wild card standings are like. It's like, I just don't have confidence in this team. Yeah, we've made 52 errors this season. That is like the most, even more than the fucking 10-50 Rockies.
Yeah, our defense has not been good, but again, it's because guys don't play the positions they're getting put at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our starters are getting fucking barreled. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of hard ground balls getting hit. That's going to lead to errors. Like, it's like, quote unquote, errors because they're routine plays. But again, a ground ball getting hit at you at 115 miles an hour, like, I don't know. It's just all not looking right. It's not fun to watch the Red Sox right now.
Yeah.
And there's a million reasons why.
Yeah. I mean, it really just like Pedro Martinez really like hit the nail on the head where he said, like, you're taking Christian Campbell, you're taking a good player and you're making him worse.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. It's silly. I mean,
yeah. Do you want to move on from this dumpster fire and actually do the stuff that you and I were like actually excited to do this episode?
So I think we have a nice, like, I don't know, icebreaker is not the right term. A nice sunshine moment on this podcast.
Yeah. So The Athletic has been doing this. I think a couple other baseball like media podcasts, whatever, have been doing their versions of the MLB all quarter century team, because it's 2025. It's time to look back at the last 25 years and build the best roster out of players that were playing at that time. So Harry and I each did that. We each did a lineup, a rotation, a bullpen, and then I think, what do we do? 4 bench guys?
4. We originally said 3, and I honestly texted Bennett this morning. He's like, dude, we have to add one more. Like, I cannot do. Yeah.
And also we didn't, initially I was like, no active players. And then we kind of decided 10 years of service time was right. Is that what we agreed
10
on?
years or just 10 years in the league, like 10 years in the league. And I think the bulk of your playing, if not all of it, has to be done 2000 or later.
Yeah. Which also I realized in that, like as soon as we said that, I looked, I was like, oh, we just eliminated Aaron Judge.
Is he not at 10 years?
8.
Oh my God. My team is cooked. Actually, that's fucking amazing, dude. That just saved. Oh my God, bro, you just saved my ass. Okay, great.
Yeah. I know. I looked too, because of course I was going to put him in there, and I was like, oh, wait, he's only been playing for 8 years?
Is this his 8th year?
I know, right?
Okay, well, that
Yeah.
helps me out a lot.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing. So we're going to do, hold on a second. Here's what we're going to do. Give me 2 seconds. Do you want to go first, actually?
Yeah. Do you want me to do the whole thing or just like my
Why
rotation
don't
and
we
then your
do,
rotation?
why don't we do, yeah, let's do like pitching, rotation, pen, infield, outfit. Like we'll do it that
Okay.
way.
All right. So at my rotation, we got our number one, our ace. We got Pedro Martinez. Uh,
Interesting.
Going up second is Randy Johnson, the
Okay.
big unit. Third will be Kurt Schilling.
Okay.
Fourth is Justin Verlander, and fifth is Roy Halladay.
Oh, Roy Halladay. I forgot about Roy Halladay.
Yeah, I had to throw Roy Halladay in
Bro,
there.
he
I
threw a
love
fucking
him.
no-hitter in the playoffs. He's amazing.
He's incredible. I mean, God only knows. Like, I mean, you know, it's really his. What happened to him is really tragic, and it's like you can only imagine,
Yeah.
like, if he had a whole rest of his career like that, it would have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went a little more modern. I did not
Okay.
include Pedro or Randy Johnson because they had significant numbers put up pre-2000.
Yeah.
I think they're totally valid to put in, but I just figured let's go with like guys that have blossomed throughout our childhood and are like
Yeah.
either still playing or just retired. So I went Scherzer,
Mhm.
Kershaw, Verlander, DeGrom. This one is not homerism, I promise. Chris Sale, and here's why. Chris Sale has led the major leagues in strikeouts 3 times in an era where he's
Yeah.
facing guys that strike out a lot of dudes. Like we're
Yeah.
at the highest era of strikeouts in major league history, and he's led the league 3 times. And he's won a Cy Young. I would probably say if I were to include someone older, I would swap him for Pedro, just because I think
Yeah.
Pedro is considered sort of the best pitcher of the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I would go with, just a little bit more modern. I felt like Scherzer, like Pedro Scherzer, I was like, and I got to have Scherzer in there. Like he's such a stud.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I will say is like when I went through and because I had a list of like, I mean, like 25 starting pitchers that I wanted to include. So when I was on, Baseball Reference on StatHead, like comparing all these guys, because to your point, like Pedro, Randy, like they played a lot of pre-2000s.
Yeah,
I
played in the 90s.
only looked at their stats 2000 to retirement.
Right.
Which is why like Roger Clemens did not make the cut because he was not as
Sure.
good in the 2000s as he was in the 90s and the 80s. I just like, I mean, you talk about K's, like, I mean, Randy Johnson just like no one was better at striking guys out than him.
Yeah.
And Schilling, I was like, he is the greatest postseason pitcher of all time. And then I was looking at Pedro's like, I mean, his 2000 Cy Young Award winning year, it was just like filthy. It's like a 1.5 ERA. And then yeah, Verlander. I mean, yeah, I did. It was hard not to put Kershaw and Scherzer in there. But at the end of the day, I was like, I know that these are my big 3.
Yeah, I think those are totally like
Yeah.
I take either of these rotations. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, well, yeah. And then Roy Halladay, I was like, yeah, it was also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I honestly forgot about Doc Halladay. He's the guy.
Yeah. Also, hang on. I forgot that I didn't know that CC Sabathia got to 3,000 Ks.
Yeah, he did.
My research of that.
I strongly considered putting him in too, but he just didn't quite pit
Do
the
you-
other guys.
Do you think Sale will get to 3,000?
I don't think so. Pitching is really interesting. I had a few like different. I'm sure we had different criteria for doing this. For me, it's about. Let me pull up CC's. I was looking at this morning. CC Sabathia's Baseball Reference. So for me, it's not just about the overall numbers. There's a few numbers that I look at more than others for sure.
Yeah.
Counting stats are an interesting one for me. Because like 3,000 hits, like he has 3,000 strikeouts. He played, I think, 19 or 20. Yeah, 19 seasons.
Yeah.
Chris Sale has. He's been in the league for 15 years, except he missed a year. So
Yeah.
14 seasons. And he has 25. Oh, he's definitely getting it. He has 2,500 strikeouts. He'll definitely get it. And but the thing is, I'm kind of jumping all over the place here. I want a pitcher who has been the best pitcher in the league multiple times. Chris Sale only has 1 Cy Young, so does CC. But I would argue, again, I'm not trying to be a homer, but 2017, Chris Sale finished second in the Cy Young, led the league in innings pitched with a 2.9 ERA and 308 strikeouts. But at that point, that was a time where they were looking at wins as like the marquee stat, like however many wins a pitcher has is the most important. And they gave it to Corey Kluber. Yeah. And I remember thinking like, really? Like he had a lower ERA and he had more wins, but also Cleveland ended up being a better ball club than us. Like I felt that was not a fair. I would say that Chris Sale has 2 years of being, in my opinion, the best pitcher in his league, whereas CeCe had one.
Well, also like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, because CeCe also, like, are you talking about CeCe's 08 year?
Yeah, he won the Cy Young in 2008. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is like
07.
Sorry, you're right. Also, I don't think CeCe was ever injured the way
not like Chris
Sale was. How old is Chris Sale at this point? I thought he was like 37.
36.
Yeah, so like, I mean, Kershaw is like roughly the same age, I think. And he's a lot closer to 3,000. He's like, I think 26 strikeouts away.
Right. Yeah, he'll definitely get it.
But I like, that's the thing with Sale. I'm like, that's going to take.
He'll get it though.
He'll have to get into his 40s though.
Unless he gets seriously injured, he'll get it. Yeah. These guys that are close to these huge counting numbers, like there's no way they're retiring without getting it. I mean, it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. There's a lot of guys who like sneak their 2500th hit or whatever, like 2500th hit, 2500th hit, like on their last week of their career.
Yeah.
But I just think Chris Sale has had, and also CeCe never led the league in strikeouts. I don't think CeCe ever led the league in ERA, and I think Chris Sale has. There's just a few little things I remember looking. Chris Sale has more All-Star appearances, which again, does that really matter? I don't know. But
yeah.
I
think part of what really mattered
the two.
Yeah, I think part of what really mattered for me was actually postseason. Once I established like a group of pitchers that I was like, statistically, you guys are in the same ballpark in the regular season, was like, okay, where do we get in the postseason? And that's where it's like
CeCe dominates. Yeah.
Well, and that's where it's like, oh, Schilling and Randy Johnson like both fit that. Verlander, I don't think I really like comprehended how good Verlander has been in the postseason.
Disgusting.
Because he doesn't have a ring, I think. No, he does with Houston. No, with Houston. One, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But for like his Tiger years, like he didn't, but still great. And then Halladay, of course, is great in the postseason as well. Like, that for me, like if you are the best of the best in October, like that, I think puts you above the rest. Not that like Scherzer did, because Scherzer was great.
Yeah, I agree with you. Schilling only didn't make it for me. I don't care.
Because he's a bigot?
No, I don't care. We've talked about that. Like, I mean, I obviously I do care about that as a person, but I don't care about that as a baseball fan. He only didn't make it because he started pitching in the early 90s. I think he retired in 07. Like, I was like, it's not quite enough. Like, there's a few massive offensive omissions on my list.
Ooh, I'm excited to get into that.
People are going to say it's because of certain things. It has nothing. None of my players.
Yeah.
Well, okay. We'll get into that actually.
I've made my choices on like. There's a surprise in my lineup.
I have some surprises. Okay. I have some surprises. Let's go bullpen.
Yeah.
You got it.
So it was just three guys: Jonathan Papelbon, Kenley Jansen, and Mariano Rivera.
Wow. Okay. Did we not do closer?
I mean, Mariano Rivera is the closer.
I did this wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna take out. Fuck! I added an extra guy. Okay, I'll throw one of them. Okay, well, I had put Billy Wagner.
Yeah.
Whose most significant part of his career was pre-2000.
Yeah.
He pitched until 2010. Craig Kimbrell, post-2018, not a good pitcher.
No.
Pre-2018,
yeah.
What the hell, dude? Go look at his stats. It is insane. He had 10 years of being almost unhittable.
Yeah.
And I went Trevor Hoffman.
So really interesting thing is like, because I almost put Trevor Hoffman in as well. And then I was comparing these guys and I'm like, wait a minute. Kenley's done like
I know
1,000 games. Papelbon and Mariano have each done like 900 games. Hoffman only did like 500.
It's a lot less.
Like in that for me, I was like, oh, that's the thing where I kind of made the decision.
And I put Mariano as my closer. I thought we were allowed to have four, so I would probably take Hoffman out of mine.
Yeah,
that would be my remove. I think Billy Wagner like has to be in there. I'm so amazed by his numbers. I went through and he was like one of those Hall of Very Good for a long time, and now he's in the Hall of Fame. But
Yeah.
I went and looked, and people kept saying his name, and he was a Red Sox in like 2009. But I just went and looked. I was like, God damn, he was good, dude.
Well, it's funny because like with Papelbon, I was like, I remember him tailing off in his career, but like those like that first chunk of years where he was with the Sox
he was legit.
is just incredible. His career numbers as a result are like fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really, I was like, oh shit, I forgot how good you are. All right.
That's funny. I honestly didn't consider him because of the tail end of his career. I was like, oh, wow. Damn, maybe I should have picked him. He's fucking serious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-time All-Star. Sheesh. Jonathan Papelbon's like legit.
Yeah. For the next bit, do we want to actually do like, do you want to give me your like, did you write it as like a starting lineup?
Yeah, I wrote it as a starting lineup, and then I have 4 bench guys.
Let's do the lineup then.
Okay. Leading off for the banana hammocks. Shortstop, the captain, Derek Jeter. Batting second in right field, Marcus Lynn Mookie Betts. Batting third, you may know him as the guy who sits on the toilet, Albert Pujols at first base. Number 4, is his leg broken? Is his arm broken? Is his hand broken? I don't know, but it's Mike Trout in center field. Number 5, the greatest designated hitter to ever do it. There's nothing funny to be said about Mr. David Ortiz. Number 6, arguably the most disappointing tail off to any career of all time, but what a stud. It's Miguel Cabrera. Number 7, this one I'm not going to be funny for. I had such a hard time with this position.
Okay.
But behind the dish has to be Joe Mauer. It's Joe Mauer for me.
Oh, we're going to disagree about that.
Yeah. I'm sure we will. This one I spent like 30 minutes on.
Interesting. Okay.
Joe Mauer. Number 8, a hometown hero for the not from Boston folks who are not Nationals fans, Bryce Harper. And
nice.
number 9, bang, bang, bang. Do you hear it? It's Jose Altuve.
Okay,
did you? Too?
Well, let's do bench.
Okay,
after.
We'll do it later. Okay.
Did you rehearse that?
No, I just did.
That
it
was
on the
good.
fly.
That was
nice.
That was great.
Managed by, real quick, by. What's going on, man? My name is Bruce Bochy.
I thought about doing Bochy.
You have to. You have to. 4 rings.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So for my lineup for the Bennett Weinshanks, we got leading off in right field, Ichiro Suzuki.
Yep.
Batting second, playing first is Albert Pujols.
Yep.
Batting third and playing in left field is Barry Bonds, the greatest hitter of all time.
Yes, I'll talk about that.
Batting cleanup, playing shortstop is Alex Rodriguez.
I will talk about that too. These were all people on my first list.
Batting fifth, David Ortiz, DH.
Yep.
Batting sixth, center fielder Mike Trout.
Yep.
Batting seventh, at the hot corner, it's Adrian Beltre.
Mm-hmm.
Batting eighth and playing second, it's Dustin Pedroia.
Mm-hmm.
And batting ninth, catching is Yadier Molina.
Yadier Molina. Wow.
Dude, I love Yadi.
Wow, we're going to really get into some of these. So,
yeah.
Who's your manager?
This was tough. I did go with Terry Francona.
Yeah.
I thought about Joe Torre because Joe Torre is a very successful manager in the 2000s, but yeah, Terry.
No, Tito's great. There's a lot of good picks. That era, there's a lot of good managers.
Do you want to start getting into our lineup first, or do you want to then also now do our bench?
I'll do my bench.
Let's do it.
I have 4 guys.
Yeah.
I would say, this guy is not supposed to be on here because I put him in the starting lineup because I had Aaron Judge in my lineup and he is disqualified. So hold on. Who am I missing? Okay, cool. So this was really hard. I wrote some like honorable mentions who we're not going to talk about. I'll just zip through them.
Mm-hmm.
My bench is Joey Votto at first base.
Okay.
Joey Votto had like an 11 to 12 year stretch of being the best first baseman in baseball. He's like going to get snubbed, I feel like, for the Hall of Fame. Go look at his numbers. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Ichiro. Did not make my starting 9, and that pains me. Like that might have actually been the hardest decision. I felt really hard. Like he got hard done by to not get in there. But when we go through why I chose who I chose, I'll explain it. Scott Rowland, third base.
Oh, that's great.
Bro, Scott Rowland, World Series champion. If you compare him, Beltre and Miguel Cabrera and Scott Rowland were the 3 guys I considered. Scott Rowland defensively has all them on lock. He has way more Gold Gloves, more Silver Sluggers. He's a World Series champion. And if you look at his career numbers, Beltre beats him in the counting stats. Rowland beats him in, I'm pretty sure, batting average, OPS plus. Like, Rowland is a dog in an era where Cardinals and Phillies and Reds.
No. Who did Rowland win the World Series with?
Cardinals, 06.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Rowland, I mean, we never know for sure, but he did it in an era where everyone was geared up, and he has never been caught taking steroids. He's in the Hall of Fame now. Thankfully, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I honestly was not considering him, and then I just was like, fuck, Scott Rowland's sick.
Yeah.
And then my last one is Pedroia. Pedroia is on my bench for sure. Like, he's...
Who did you have starting at second?
Altuve,
right. That's great. I mean, he's great, but I mean, he's a good player, but like, that's crazy.
I just think, again, like Altuve, I don't like, obviously the cheating shit sucks, but fuck, dude, his stats are crazy. Like, and he's won an MVP, again, debatable if he should have won that, but he's crazy.
Yeah. So my bench was Derek Jeter, Miguel Cabrera, Bryce Harper, and Mookie Betts.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
Once I saw like my lineup of like the 2 through 5 of being Pujols, Bonds, A-Rod, and David Ortiz, I was like, I got like a little tingly. I was like, that's so lethal.
Yeah, it's insane. So let's address the elephants in the room.
Yeah.
I did not put Bonds in my lineup for no other reason than, again, most of his significant playing time was pre-2000. He retired. Retired. He kind of like was out of baseball in 07. I don't care about the steroid thing with him at all.
Yeah.
My A-Rod omission is more about steroids. I have always, and actually my Manny Ramirez omission as well. My line with steroids has always been testing positive post Mitchell report.
Right.
So if you're in the Mitchell report, it wasn't technically a banned substance at that point, and those were supposed to be anonymous tests.
Yeah.
If you're Ramirez, A-Rod got popped twice.
Yeah.
So that to me is like, dog, what are you doing? Bonds, Clemens, like those guys, I don't give a fuck. But I actually just felt like he had played so much good baseball pre-2000. I know his numbers are great post-2000.
Yeah,
I wanted to give they're great.
Because he set the record for like on-base percentage in the 2000s.
Yeah, his numbers in the 2000s are insane, but I wanted to give it to someone who played predominantly or entirely in the 2000s, which is why Bryce Harper is a fucking stud. And again, he's someone that I kind of was like, maybe I'll throw him on the bench. And I looked at, 2 MVPs, Rookie of the Year. He hasn't won a World Series, but he's been great in the postseason. He's sporting a 9-something career OPS. Like, he is an absolute tank. I put him in the outfield. I know now with the arm problems, he's at first base, but like, I felt like I couldn't omit him. Betts and Judge was a hard one, and the Judge service time thing made it easy for me. I put Aaron Judge in over Betts, which sounds crazy, but like, obviously Aaron Judge, when he hits that 10-year mark, he goes right into everybody's team.
Yeah.
Betts was so, again, it's like Ichiro. Like, the outfield was way harder than the infield for me. Like, Bonds, I was like, okay, he didn't play 10 years after 2000. Do I put him in? But obviously he deserves Ramirez, the PED thing. Ichiro literally only did not make it because most of his hits are singles. Like, that's the main reason why. I like a little more juice in my bat. That was like, could have been him over Mookie very easily. Yeah. Ichiro is like the first guy that comes off my bench. But the outfield is super fucking hard to pick. I mean, I really had a hard time with it. Explain your thinking.
Well, yeah. Well, I will say about Mookie is like it is so funny how like the Dodgers roster is so stacked that it kind of overshadows the fact that he is such a phenomenal player. Like his stat line from last year is crazy good. If you were on any other team, if you were still on the Red Sox, like he would be the by far and away best player, and everyone would be like, "Holy shit! Like this guy is so good."
Mm-hmm.
And because he's like next to Otani, it's like that kind of gets lost, which is wild. But yeah, Mookie Betts is incredible, and I think that's a very good choice. He definitely needs to be on the roster somewhere. So yeah, with I mean Ichiro, I think like just like the most consistent hitter uh this like in the last 25 years, but also like just like I think in the last like century. I mean the fact that he I think went I think he his I think it was like his third game he brought his batting average over 300 and it never went down.
Yeah.
And like that's just incredible.
No, it's insane. Insane. I
Um
mean, he's like,
yeah.
it's insane that I'm even discussing leaving him off. Like that's crazy,
Yeah,
you know?
he is to me like the like if you think of a leadoff guy, like that's the first guy I think of.
Of course, he's the
Him and
quintessential
then
base
like
stealer.
yeah, I think him and then Johnny Damon, which is like a mammoth step down.
Sure.
Pujols, I think, I mean, yeah, he kind of fell off with the Angels, and but
Bro,
I don't know, he's still
Pujols,
the
listen,
greatest hitter.
best. He's one of the best. He's the second best right-handed hitter of all time.
Yeah. With Bonds, I think for me it was like yes, steroids, like absolutely.
Oh, let's
I'm just
go!
did Rafaela hit a home run?
Fuck yeah! Fuck yes! Sorry, I've cut you off
It,
like 3 times, but
no, it's fine.
I'm
It
spazzing
only
over here.
happens when there are people on base. Like he
I
only
know,
hits good when there are people on base. That's why
bro. He's hot. He's 3 for 3.
he should be a pinch hitter. Like
Yeah,
put him in when there are guys on, whatever. But like, yay, tied game. All right, let's not lose this one by one run like we do every
yeah. They need
fucking
to score.
day.
Okay,
Um,
continue though. So
yeah.
Pujols.
So Bonds, the thing about Bonds is like, yeah, I mean, the steroids are definitely a part of it, but like, I think you can't really build a team for the 2000s without having some steroid
Mm-hmm.
guys on there. It's just like, unfortunately, like was the defining thing for like a decade of this quarter century.
Yeah.
But his numbers are just incredible. Like in 2004, his OP, his on base is, I think like in the sixes, which is
Yeah.
filthy.
Insane.
I mean, he just I think best. I gotta say, like the best hitter of all time. So it felt like I was like, this isn't really to me a complete team if I leave him off the roster.
Yeah, that's an easy pick for sure.
A-Rod, I put on there because like, in addition to like, I was like, oh, like this just not just like the players that I want and like for this, but I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
who's like better? Like who's actually like good? And Derek Jeter's obviously he's a great player. I mean, he's on this roster.
Yep.
Alex Rodriguez is a better hitter. He's a better defensive shortstop.
Yes.
And I was like, that's it for me. Like there, I was like, he's gotta be, and there's that flexibility with the roster. I was like, oh, if I put him at short, then I can have Beltray at third because I do think A-Rod's on that roster no matter what.
Yeah.
Because he does
I
have
had
696 home, like he almost has 700 home runs, which is
yeah.
like,
A-Rod was on my list until about 20 minutes before we recorded. And I took him off purely because I didn't want to be a hypocrite.
yeah,
Because my whole thing with the steroid shit has always been pre-Mitchell report, post-Mitchell report. Post-Mitchell report, like guys are not doing juice like that anymore. Like they get
yeah,
caught. Like dudes get caught in the league now. I'm sure there's some who slip through the cracks, but like it's not like
yeah,
as widespread. And for him to do it twice after was just kind of like, come on, bro. But
yeah,
he was literally on my list above Jeter. Jeter was on my bench for
yeah,
the same exact reason. And then I just was like, you know what? You usually are like more strict on this. Like you should stick with your gumption here. So
yeah.
I agree with that pick too, though. I actually think your lineup is probably everything that you've said so far is something that was on my paper at some point.
Yeah. I will say, and then so with Ortiz, actually, I had a really hard time with David Ortiz
Sure.
and DH because I mean he is a phenomenal like DH. Like that's not a question. It was for me, I was like David Ortiz or Otani.
Mm-hmm.
Because Otani has been in the league long enough. He is like probably one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
He's like, two-way player. And this kind of similar to the rotation the construction earlier, it came down to what do these guys do in the postseason? And
Mm-hmm.
David Ortiz is arguably like one of the greatest
He
postseason
might be.
bats.
He might be. Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani, I don't know if no one remembers because the Dodgers won the World Series, but Shohei Ohtani kind of sucked.
Yeah, he was mid. He was mid. He had a
Like
couple home runs.
he was not a particularly clutch bat even when he was hitting. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Ohtani didn't make the cut for that reason, and there just wasn't room on the bench.
Here's my thing with Ohtani, real quick. I'll piggyback
yeah,
off
yeah,
that. If Ohtani gets injured tomorrow, a lot of the guys who are like just at the 10-year mark
yeah.
were tough for me too. Because if Ohtani gets injured tomorrow, like he'll go in the Hall of Fame. But
Yeah.
he won't be remembered the same way. Like he won't be the like David Ortiz. Like it'll be like, damn,
Yeah.
Ohtani pitched and hit, and that's fucking crazy. And he hit, 50-50. Like that's insane. But like with guys that were entirely post 2000,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Mike Trout's such an interesting. We talked about this a couple weeks ago on our episode, but like he'll be in the Hall of Fame. But Mike Trout isn't going to go down as like one of the greatest hitters of all time because of all the injuries. He'll be like clearly a Hall of Famer for sure. But like I don't know. You can never really tell the future. And I was just like David Ortiz. Again, I've tried to be very unbiased. David Ortiz is so bona fide.
Yeah.
That like I can't leave him off my roster. It's not possible.
Yeah. I also like with Trout, like researching this, I feel like every like 2 or 3 months I am reminded, yeah, he had a ton of injuries, but when he hasn't been hurt, Mike Trout has been incredible. Like I always forget how nice he is. And then I look back at his stats, I'm like, no, that is actually with I mean, I will say like, yeah, with players who have like your argument for like why not Ohtani is also the exact same reason why Juan Soto isn't on my roster.
Yeah.
Like,
he was never making my roster.
He came up in 2018. He is like a phenomenal hitter. He'll probably be in the Hall of Fame for sure, but like he hasn't done anything. He just hits good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we live in such a baseball's such a crazy sport because there's a lot of parity. I mean, I know the Astros were kind of dominant for a while, but mostly there's a lot of parity in baseball, and also the tides change very quickly in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Guys go from being really good to really irrelevant. I mean, Mike Trout is like not discussed the way that he used to be anymore.
Yeah.
Like guys are not talking about Mike Trout that way because he's been injured so many times. If anything, the discussion with Mike Trout is, oh man, it's such a bummer. Like he could have been so great.
Well, it's I mean, it's that, and also it's that the Angels have fallen off over the course of his career.
Sure. Yeah, but that's a part of it too. I mean, he just gets less eyeballs on him. And I don't know. I think like, hence the Ohtani thing, again, to tie it back to that. What happens in the next like 5 years is what really makes him go from like, wow, that was so cool that we got to see that, and like he's in the Hall of Fame, to like he's like actually the greatest player of all time, literally the best of all time.
Like if he comes back to pitch again and he pitches well, I think that very much seals the deal.
Totally.
I think if he comes back and he can't pitch, then it's like
he's just a fucking damn good DH,
Yeah, but even then I'm like, oh, you actually like swindled the Dodgers. Because you got $700 million for playing a position that at most deserves $300 million. If we're gonna be
if that, yeah.
So I think that's really the thing, the kind of like factor with Ohtani for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also wait. Are we sure he has 10 years? Does he? 8 years. 8 years.
Wait, Ohtani only has 8 years?
8 years.
Oh,
okay,
shit.
well there you go.
I'm glad he's not in there.
There you go. Answers our question for us anyway.
I'm
not gonna lie though; these numbers are crazy, bro.
They are.
These numbers are crazy.
They're totally crazy, but it's only been 8 years, and like, these guys have been playing for like, I mean, fucking like Barry Bonds
Ortiz played for 20.
Yeah. Adrian Beltre was also, I think, a pretty easy one for me. I think partially because he's like a really good hitter in that bounce back year with Boston. He's a decent third baseman, but I also just he was one where I was like, I just like him as a guy. Like he's such an affable dude. He's so funny and like such a good clubhouse presence. I was like, let's put him in there. And then Pedroia, I think similarly
speaks for itself.
I can't think of another Altuve wasn't even a thought in my mind. I was like, oh, second base, Pedroia. Oh, what's Jeff Kent up to? It's not nearly as good as Pedroia.
Literally the only two correct answers for second base are Altuve and Pedroia, and I think, again, that's kind of where I go with the stuff I was saying about Ohtani. Like, it's unfortunate with his injury because 2-3 more years of like hitting 300 with an 800 OPS, it's locked for me. There's no question.
Yeah. It really it sucks for Pedroia, I think. But also
note,
like, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Pedroia is also, I think, like Beltre, he's such a character.
Yeah, he's great. He's such a great. I was going to say one of the dudes on my baseball team, Eddie, he has a Manny Machado bobblehead in his bathroom, and we piss on it every time we go to his house.
Good. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, not Eddie. Yeah. I like Eddie, but like fuck Manny Machado.
Fuck Manny. We all like, fuck Manny Machado.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Let's talk catcher.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I want to explain my thinking. And again, like there's 3 answers that I'm sure we all circled around. There's Buster Posey, there's Yadier Molina, there's Joe Mauer. Probably like you, Yadi was my first thought. Posey played 12 years. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He is like, I would actually say if he had played the amount of time, Mauer played 15. I think Yadi played almost 20, which is crazy. I think if Posey played the amount of time Mauer did, Posey's the best catcher of all time. He obviously had an injury. But my God, that guy was unbelievable. But he played enough to be qualified for this, but he didn't play enough in my mind to warrant the selection.
I think that's fair.
Yadier Molina is the best defensive catcher. I mean, probably of all time, definitely of our era of watching baseball for sure. His offensive output has been solid for a catcher.
Yeah.
I would say good for a catcher. Joe Mauer, this goes back to my thing of like, is there a burst of years where you're the best in your position? Oh boy, Rafi Devers, deep center to the track fly out. Damn. Anyway, is there a burst of years? Is there a 5-year period where you are the best at your position, pulling in MVPs, pulling in top 2, top 3 MVP finishes? Mauer has that along with, let me make sure I'm not butchering this, Joe Mauer. I believe 5 gold gloves. 3 gold gloves. 3 gold gloves, 5 silver sluggers. That's what it is.
Yeah.
To me, his MVP award as a catcher is what did it for me. Like, that's so hard to do, to win an MVP as a catcher and to play for as long as he played. The counting numbers are okay. A career 300 batting average is insane. A career mid-8s OPS is insane for a catcher. And to have 3 gold gloves behind him, was he ever as good defensively as Yadi Molina? Absolutely not. But he was great defensively, and he was excellent. He was the best in the league offensively as a catcher. I just couldn't look past that.
Yeah, I think with Yachty, I mean, I loved watching him work behind the plate, like watching him throw out guys. Like, he's just like, I mean, there's nobody who does it better. Even if he was using sticky stuff like that one time, the ball got stuck.
I don't give a shit. I don't
whatever. But I mean, I think Mauer's great. I always think of him as a catcher turned first baseman.
Yeah, because I think his last 3 years, right? He
played 600 games at first.
Wow.
So I think for that reason, I was like, I don't really think of him fully as a catcher the way I think of Yachty as a catcher, even though Joe Mauer was a catcher for sure. The other thing, and this is really like, I think kind of like silly, but I think valid too, is the year after Yadier Molina retired, the pitching staff of the St. Louis Cardinals, like there was a distinct difference in how that pitching staff performed. I mean, they were worse than the year before when they had Yachty. Like, the fact that Yachty's absence made that big a difference, I think to me, I'm like, that's the catcher.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally get down.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of those positions where any one of those 3, I would put Posey in there too. If you said Posey, I would be like, that's totally fine. He also won an MVP. He just didn't play long enough for me. Like, any one of those 3 is a great answer. Those are the 3 correct answers.
Yeah, if someone's like Joe Mauer's your starting catcher, I wouldn't be like, oh man, like no, like that.
Yeah, no, I could see someone saying like, oh well, Posada, but like it's not.
No, fuck that.
There's no way. There was no way. The Family Guy. There was no way. Yeah, it's one of those 3, and I think Posey's lack of years played. I don't want to say excludes him, but it just took him out of the equation for me. Like it was
Yeah.
between Yachty and Mauer, and I just went with the more offensive answer, and you went with the more defensive answer.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but I also don't because like the stats back us up. But like, I didn't even think about Veritek.
No, 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 no.
Like,
Veritek was a great Red Sox player. He's
yeah,
not an all-time, like he's not.
no.
But look at dude Joe Mauer. Like I'm just looking at his batting average is fucking crazy, bro. Like so
Yeah,
his last 4.5 seasons, he started first base and then eventually switched his last four. He was there the whole time. But
yeah,
bro,
but
as a catcher, 306 average, 347, 328, 365, 327, 319. Like he was 324. He basically hit 300 every year he was behind the plate. That's insane.
yeah. What I'm wondering is like, so because I always remember when Mauer came up, it was like him and Justin Morneau, and like that was
Yeah,
a lethal combo of like back to
sure.
back like left-handed bats. And I'm trying to remember like why did Morneau move off of like why did Mauer get first? Like
Concussions.
oh my God, that's
Morneau
right.
had horrible concussion
That's right. That's
problems.
right. That's right. Shit. Now I want to look up like
Bro, he was a dog. He won an MVP, Justin Morneau.
he was great. I think that I totally forgot about the concussions, and that's such a bummer
Yeah.
because he was so good.
Yeah, I mean, he was on pace to be a Hall of Famer.
Wow,
His
14-year career.
2006. Yeah, and he won MVP in '06. And I think up until 2010 was when he started getting injured. He was like 100% going to go to the Hall for sure.
Dude,
And
actually, like straight up, you look at his 2010 when he made the All-Star game, he had a 1 dot
crazy.
OPS.
Yeah,
And
crazy.
then the next year, 2011, which I assume was when the concussion happened, he
Yeah,
had an
yes.
OPS of 618.
Yeah, he was literally never the same. Like he had
Yeah.
only 2 good years after that when he
He
was in
no, he actually
Colorado.
he had a great year in Colorado. I was gonna say his 2014 in Colorado was pretty great, but then he got hurt again. Yeah, damn, that's just how you hate to see that.
Yep. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying though about these guys. Like I'm gonna always pick for a team like this a guy that played 20 years over someone who's having in the midst of a good 10th or 11th year. Like I'm always picking the
yeah,
longevity because it's amazing.
like you know Ronald Acuna Jr. for example is like a great player, but like
Totally.
in like if he like I I wouldn't ever put him in this conversation unless he had like a 20-year career. Like, will he have a 20-year career that's good
We
enough?
don't
Like,
know.
I don't know.
It's impossible to tell. I mean, it's impossible to tell.
Yeah.
Is there any other areas of contention that we had? I don't think
No,
so.
I think we were like pretty much like both satisfied with our respective uh lineups. Yeah,
I
I
threw
think
out some honorable mentions. Just I'll zip through them. I
oh yeah,
had
yeah,
Beltray. Obviously, I explained why, but
yeah.
I had to put Miguel Cabrera in there, and I think Scott Rowland was just more comparing the
Hmm.
numbers. I put Tim Lincecum as an honorable mention. He played
Yeah.
10 years, but he for 3 or 4 years was the best pitcher in all of baseball, and then he
That
fell off really
that
bad.
fall off was so brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, he can't make the list for that reason, but he deserves a shout out. I gave Kenley a shout out. I gave Yachty a shout out, and I did give Shohei one.
Yeah.
Just because he didn't play long enough, and again the DH thing is tough. So I think
Yeah.
it's really hard to do this.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
imagine like the all 2000s team when we're long dead, and it's like that would be
Yeah.
insane.
I will say like Kenley, one thing about Kenley I didn't really fully recognize was like for a closer, shit ton of strikeouts.
Yeah, a lot, a
Shit
lot.
ton of strikeouts. Um, couple of guys that I will throw on will mention to reliever Brian Wilson because I just remember
Yeah,
from the
stud,
Giants. I was like,
stud.
Eric Gagne. I was like, oh, he's for sure on there. And then I looked. I'm like, oh, you had one phenomenal year, but like
Yeah,
you weren't actually good.
yeah, I think he got like MVP votes as a closer, which is kind of a crazy thing. But yeah, he had
Yeah.
he had a brief period of being amazing, but he was like a juicer. I think he got caught taking
Was he?
roids.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
he won the Cy Young. He won the Cy Young as a reliever. That's pretty hard
Yes,
to
that's
do.
right. That's right. I think
Wow.
that was in '04.
Yep.
Um, Zach Greinke was someone who I really considered
Oh, I should have thought about him.
because
Yeah.
I mean, he's a dog. He's also a total weirdo, which
Uh-huh.
I love. He's been like, he's played for a lot of teams. He's had postseason success. It just like at the end of the day, I'm like, he's not as dominant as the other guys on this list.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think like what other guys like most of the other guys like, you know, Johan Santana like didn't really make it far in my evaluation.
Yeah, he never. Yeah,
Um, and same with King Felix. I'm trying to think.
I thought about King Felix. I thought about Madison Bumgarner.
I thought about I honestly thought about Steven Strasburg and Adam Wainwright.
Yep, I thought about both of them as well. I thought
Yeah.
about pitching was difficult. I mean, I don't know. I found this whole thing to be difficult. I actually
Yeah.
found, other than the A-Rod thing, I found the infield to be the only thing that was mildly easy. Because like Pujols and Cabrera and Jeter, there's so many guys that are just like bona fide.
Yeah.
Pitching was very hard.
One guy I thought about, and then I thought about like very, very fleetingly because I love his windup is Dontrell
Yeah.
Willis.
Oh yeah, he didn't play long enough though.
No, he didn't play long enough, and also he wasn't very good
No,
after
he
like
only had 2 years. He won Rookie of the Year, and then he was not good after that.
yeah. But yeah, no, I think that was it. Oh, Garrett Cole was someone I looked at as well, but also
Yeah?
similarly, I'm like, I need you to actually finish your career.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens when he comes back from injury, but
Yeah.
well, this was fun. I
Cool,
mean, this
yeah.
is definitely great. Well, it'll be interesting. The Red Sox have tied the game. It's in the
Yeah.
bottom of the 7th. They really have to win. This is a must-win game, I would say. So
They've all been must-win games for the last like 3 weeks.
month, yeah, it's been tough. So we shall see. Is there anything that we're missing before we wrap here?
I think as usual, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, like and subscribe and review and all of that. Subscribe to the Substack to get this in your inbox. We have a YouTube channel. We're on Instagram.
We're on
At Not From
TikTok
Boston.
now.
Yeah, at Not From Boston Pod. So follow us there. And hopefully when we're back next week, like we'll be a little bit more excited to talk about the Red Sox.
Just give me 500. Just get me to 500. Give me some optimism, and we'll be good.
Yeah, the bar is like literally
It's
that low.
low.
I mean,
It's
also,
that low.
we should say at the end of this recording, we recorded this on Tuesday. By the time you're hearing this, the Red Sox, I mean, at best will be like, I think, a game below 500 or 2 games below 500. But
Yeah, it'll be Friday, so we'll see.
I feel confident that like this mood is going to last till Friday.
I am going to end on a somber note. I don't know if we're making the playoffs. I think it might be too late. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll
I hope
see.
I'm wrong. I hope
Yeah.
I'm wrong. But anyway.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
Peace.